Hey everyone, you're welcome to this video, and with me is my colleague and friend Esther Naluga, who is a nutritionist and currently training to be a public health expert. And we are going to be talking about something that is quite concerning to some people, and that is weight and how difficult it is for people to lose weight, even when most of us feel like we are doing our best. So she will tell us some of the mistakes that we continue to make during this journey of losing weight, even when we think we are doing the right things.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Esther Naluka, and yeah, like Benson mentioned, I'm a nutritionist, and it's a pleasure being here to talk to you about weight. So before I go into the reasons as to why it's difficult to lose weight, we could just talk briefly about where weight actually comes from. So there are so many factors that bring about weight. Some of them we can control, while others we cannot control. So we've heard of people that say that in my family we are fat or we have heavy weight. Mm. So that is one of the reasons that is one of the reasons for weight gain, genetics. Secondly, our lifestyle behavior. For example, the diets that we eat, how physically active we are, and then other practices like alcohol intake, smoking, and so many other things around our behavior. And then also the environment that we live in contributes greatly to weight gain. So the environment also has a role to play in weight gain. Uh, yes, and weight is mainly around energy in and versus energy out. In other words, how much energy are you taking into your body that is through the food that you eat versus how much energy are you using, that is through the different energy expenditure activities that the body takes on. For example, the body activities like breathing, walking, even movement of blood through the body uses energy. But then also external factors like exercise, yes, majorly exercise. So if the energy that you take in, ideally that there should be a balance between the energy in versus the energy out. So if the energy that you take in starts to exceed the energy that you take out, then that is where we get a problem of well, it will not be a problem. So the body has a mechanism.
It's definitely a problem.
Well, okay, it's a problem. So the body has a mechanism of storing the extra energy which you have taken in but you've not been able to utilize or to take out. So the body will store it as fat. Um, yes, as fat. So that is what eventually results into weight gain. Yeah. Going on to the question
Yeah, yeah. Been,
that
we are waiting.
uh-huh. So yeah, going on to the question that you asked, that why is it very hard to lose weight? So one of the reasons is it's good to assess to know why exactly you're gaining weight. Is it because of your lifestyle? Is it because of the genetics? Is it because of a certain disease that you have? Is it because of maybe a certain medication that you're taking? Yeah, so it's very good to address the issue from, let me say, the root cause you get. Because a person who gains weight because of a certain drug may approach it differently than a person who gains it because they probably they're not having a healthy diet. Yes. However, as much as weight loss is a personalized kind of thing, in other words, what works for me may not work for him. Still, there are general practices that you can put in place that everyone has to work around to see that they get what can work for them. So that is one, through the healthy eating. We need to eat healthy. By healthy eating, I mean plenty of fruits and vegetables, um, less of less of refined foods. For example, things like rice, pizza, and
Is it all the rice? Is there rice that is actually healthy?
yes. So we have kinds of rice. There is the whole wheat rice and then the white refined rice. So the whole wheat rice would be better than the refined rice. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that it's quite rare on our market. But if you actually want it, you can find it. They usually call it brown rice. When you go on
Does it
the
taste as good as usual rice?
It may taste slightly different, but if you're very intentional about the weight loss thing, you will actually start to like that taste.
Sure.
This also applies to bread. You know, we have the whole wheat bread, and then we have the normal white or cake bread. You see, I whole wheat bread at the first taste will taste strange, but if you know that this is what you have to eat, eventually you get used to that taste. Yeah, and
Okay.
then.
So to go to the topic, like uh, what are those mistakes that people who are trying to lose weight continue to make, even on their journey as they think they are doing the right thing? What are those mistakes that we continue to make, and why we are not actually losing the weight even when we think we are doing okay?
Yeah, one of the biggest problems is lack of commitment and patience. So if you notice, you've gained this weight over a period of time, say 1 year or 4 years or 10 years, but you want to lose it in 2 weeks. What kind of magic is
I feel attacked.
that? Yeah. So one of the things is commitment. I
Yes.
mean, most of the time people want to diet and eat well for a month, and then if they're not seeing a change, they will abandon. Or if they see a slightest of changes, then they'll feel like they've arrived. So one of the things that is very important in this weight loss journey is commitment. You have to commit to your healthy eating. You have to commit to your exercise. You have to commit to maybe your reduction in alcohol and every other strategy that you're using to lose that weight. You have to commit that even after you've arrived at your goal, you have to continue healthy eating, like eating healthy and exercising in order to be able to maintain. Because on top of the commitment, the other biggest challenge is people arrive at their goal, but then they are not able to maintain the weight loss. So that all goes back to commitment.
I totally agree with you because I think we all usually have a short-term view of weight loss, and when we arrive, we feel like we've arrived at the destination, so there's no need to
To
continue
continue.
anyway. Like if you reach the finishing line of the race, then it doesn't make natural sense to continue
continue.
running at the same pace, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would totally think I agree with you, and yeah, I think personally I can easily relate with my own life. Okay, so we go to number two.
Number two,
Yeah.
yes. So that the second thing is people usually want to starve themselves in order to lose the weight. Um, I'll give an example. Someone thinks that in order to lose my weight, I'll just reduce the number of meals that I eat. However, I'll still eat the same kind of food. In other words, instead of eating breakfast, lunch, and supper, I'll skip breakfast and maybe I eat only lunch. But then you realize that the kind of food that he or she eats at lunchtime is still the type that she used to eat before she started this weight loss journey. But also, most of the time, the body will want to ask you for more in terms of quantity if you're eating only one meal. So you find that the food that you're eating in that one meal of that day is enough to, I mean, if you decided to break it down into portions, it would be enough to serve you for 4 or 5 meals in the same day. So that is the other mistake.
So we are programmed to eat as much as we can when we find it.
Yes.
So meaning if I'm eating less, if I'm trying to say I'll skip some of the meals and I eat one, then I'm programmed to eat as much
eat double.
and compensate and
Exactly.
end up eating the same quantity
Exactly.
during the
In
24
just
hours.
one meal. Yes, so that is the other reason. So the other thing is sometimes people think that they are eating right, yet they're actually eating more.
Okay.
In this sense, uh, most of us think, which is not wrong, that eating boiled food is
Healthy.
ideal, is
Yeah.
healthy, which is true. Mm? But when it comes to things like weight loss, someone will come up and they'll boil their sematoke, their rice, their meat, their everything, you see, and they'll still say boil their greens, but these greens are not in the proportions that they should eat. And they're very sure they're eating healthy because they're eating food boiled, but the quantities of the particular types of food they're eating are, they'll give you as a lot of calories as they would have, even if, well, they would be slightly less than they would have been if you had fried, but still the calories are there. So the concept here is, it is about what you eat and not how you eat it or how much amount,
How it is prepared.
how it is.
So
exactly.
those are just details.
Yes.
But what matters is how much you're taking in.
Yes. So that the ideal situation here is, there's a concept called MyPlate.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of the diabetic plate.
Uh-huh. So it's the same concept.
Yes.
So this MyPlate kind of shows you proportions of the different types of food that you should eat in a meal.
Can it be looked up like online?
Oh yes, you
My
can just
plate.
put MyPlate, or you can even put diabetic plate. It's the same concept. So in this MyPlate concept, it will show you that half the plate should be vegetables and or fruits,
Yes.
and then the other half, quarter, should be the protein. For example, the beans, the peas, the fish, the meat, and then the other quarter should be the carbohydrates.
Yes.
So when we are choosing which kind of protein to eat, we need to be specific.
Mm.
Okay. There's this concept of red meat and white meat.
Mm.
Ideally, white meat is better,
Yes.
but then also there are other factors that come into play in that issue. For example, it may be, I mean, we see how most of the hens are reared these days. They are reared for 4 weeks and they're already out.
So they are adulterated. There's also
Exactly.
white meat that has been adulterated
Exactly.
with antibiotics
Exactly.
and all sorts of
Yes.
things.
So you would realize that someone who ate a goat that was locally reared, and it is red meat, but they are better than someone who actually ate this broiler for 3 weeks. You see?
It makes me scared. Makes me feel like, are we ever going to win? Like, is it ever going to be possible to, eat healthy and live healthy? Given the circumstances, because right now, where do you even get the local chicken, for example?
Yeah, we take every day at a time. So when you manage to get it,
Okay, okay.
so yeah. So anyway, so back to the protein part. So it's always good to, of course, eat more of the plant protein. If you're trying to lose weight, you can eat more of the plant protein. That is the beans, the peas, the groundnuts. But then in the animal protein, you can eat fish, you can eat chicken, if you can get the local one. But if we choose to eat the meat, we can choose lean cuts.
Yes.
Lean cuts without the fatty, yeah. And then we can, of course, try as much as we can to avoid the frying.
Yes.
You see, that's an added benefit. Yes. And then moving on to the carbohydrates.
Maybe just at that point, what does the frying do? Does the frying alter the content? Does it just add calories? So, say, for example, if I added oil without frying it, is it any better than me frying with the oil? Because it's practice. Sometimes I've seen people add oil, for example, to the rice or to some of the food without frying it. Does it make any difference?
Not exactly. So the thing about fat is that it contributes more calories as opposed to carbohydrates. And to explain it better, 1 gram of fat contributes 9 kilocalories in your body, while 1 gram of carbohydrates and 1 gram of protein contributes 4.
45.
Yes. So you see the difference. So if I am adding fat to my already rich calorie food, so I'm only adding calories to my what? My diet. Yet this is something I'm trying to reduce. So So that is why it's always good to avoid fat whenever you can, especially if you're fighting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Moving on to the carbohydrates, let's still on my plate.
Yeah.
Yes. So in the carbohydrate section, we have the refined carbohydrates, and we have the whole wheat, or the unrefined ones. Yeah, it's always good that we choose high fiber carbohydrates, or carbohydrates that are not refined, because usually in the refining process you find that things like fiber, that those micronutrients are all removed during the refining process. So it's always good we choose those high fiber options. For example, maybe if it's rice and you can find the brown rice, that's very good.
The
Things
natural
like,
brown rice. That's not the
yes,
one where we add in
not
stuff to
pilau,
make
please,
it.
not pilau. Not
Okay,
pilau. There's brown rice on
I
the
was
shelf.
getting happy, but
No.
okay.
Yeah, in any case, pilau is even worse because they use a lot of oil to fry it. Yeah, so it's even worse than the normal boiled rice. Yeah, so then sweet potatoes, and then things like cassava, matoke, pumpkin. Yeah, those are some of the options. Yams, those are some of the options that you can use. But what is important is keeping the portion sizes. So these carbohydrates, the whole wheat or high fiber carbohydrates we are choosing should only cover a quarter of your plate. Then the lean meat or the legumes and the legumes that we're choosing should cover the other quarter of the plate, and then the half of the plate is vegetables and or fruit. Yeah. Point number 4 is most of us think that we can lose weight through only exercise. So in other words, we are trying to outrun our bad diet. So someone continues eating the way they do, but then they hope that when they go to the gym once a week or twice a week, they're going to shed off all the food that they have eaten within the week. But that is something that will take you years to achieve, if ever. So usually, it's very good that you modify your diet first and then complement that modification with exercise. You will yield better results.
So if I
when you do
became
that.
more intense with my exercise, I ran every day, maybe a few kilometers, and then there an equilibrium? Is there an amount of exercise I can do to undo my poor diet?
You would have to work extra hard to do that. I've seen a common practice here in the city.
Mm.
You find that people will drive to the gym, work out for like 2 hours, and then drive to a pop joint and eat 3 kgs of meat with a whole tray of beer. So they've literally put back everything they've burnt out times 3.
Plus some plus supply.
Yes, you see. So then they'll start saying, my stomach is not reducing, I'm not losing weight. It's because you cannot outrun a bad diet. You cannot. So actually research has it that if you diet alone will yield better weight loss than exercise alone. You see. But a combination of the two will yield even better.
So the combination of the two is the
both
goal.
diet and yes, that is the goal. Yes. But if you really feel like you want to choose just one, I would think you go with diet.
Oh,
Yes.
that's new.
Yes. But the thing is, exercise has other advantages other than weight loss. So that is why it's good to, you complement, just combine that two and even get faster and more pleasant.
So then, would you say that if I was dieting alone and I'm looking very healthy, actually, like many people do, like you and I don't know other people do, would you say that if I'm dieting alone and I look healthy, I'm lean, I look flexible, is there some degree of being unhealthy in me still?
Yes, it's very possible. I mean, we've seen people that are slim like me, but they have hypertension or they have, diabetes. So it's very possible. I mean, if you're small like me and you're eating healthy, then the risk of the other conditions is less. But if you're small like me, but you're eating unhealthy,
Yes.
that does not mean that you cannot get the other complications like the hypertension and the and the diabetes and other heart diseases. So my point here is eating healthy is not only for people trying to lose weight. It
Yes.
should be an ideal lifestyle for everyone, because that eating healthy is not only for weight loss; it has other benefits.
So the
like
same as
taking-
exercise.
Exactly.
So basically having a healthy diet
Mhm.
and exercising
Mm,
to be for everyone, regardless
exactly.
of whether you look healthy.
Healthy or not. Thank you. Another reason as to why people don't lose weight as they would like to is because they don't sleep enough.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
So
thought people
sleep,
who sleep a lot actually gain a lot of weight in their sleep.
I didn't say a lot.
Yeah,
I
okay.
said enough.
Okay.
I said enough.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you don't sleep enough, there's an effect on your appetite. You know those appetite hormones. Eh? Yeah, there's research that shows that people that sleep less then sort of have a higher appetite.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and maybe even many other things like depression is more in
Exactly.
people who don't sleep enough, and many people tend to compensate their depression with like food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
I
you need
agree
to
there.
sleep enough. Yeah, and then also drink enough water.
Oh.
Drink enough water.
Is that to compensate for the little food you're eating?
Maybe, but also to help the other body. I mean, the body mechanisms work out, you know, in the burning of fat. So yeah,
Yes, I agree, because metabolism uses water to burn the calories. So
Mhm.
yeah, if you're dehydrated,
yeah. Then
means
you complicate
metabolism
the
is a bit
process.
complicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, those are some of the reasons. There could be other reasons. Of course, like I said at the beginning, you need to know why you're actually failing to lose the weight, because sometimes it may be because you're not adhering to your diet, or you're not, being committed, or you're not sleeping enough. But it's sometimes it may be a medical issue. So you need to probably see your doctor and they find out maybe. I mean, there are some medical issues like hypothyroid, and then those hormonal imbalances. So sometimes it may be something beyond you or beyond what you're doing.
All the many drugs that people are
Uh-huh.
taking, some
Yes.
drugs which have been implicated
Yeah,
in causing.
bring weight gain.
Yeah. Though, just on that, if I'm taking those drugs,
Mm.
or if I have that medical condition, because as a doctor, there's many patients still we see who have the same medical condition,
Mm.
but they are, which is say slowing down their metabolism, maybe hypothyroidism, but they are still maintaining an optimal weight. Yet they are taking a certain drug, maybe hormonal medicine, psychiatric medicine, but they are maintaining their weight. Yet, some people are taking those medicines, or they have the condition and they are gaining weight. So, is there still, even then, is there still a place for lifestyle factors, even when someone has such a condition that predisposes them to gaining weight?
Yes. So I'll take an example from management of hypertension, NCDs, we say hypertension and diabetes. The first line treatment is lifestyle. Yeah. So even if your weight gain is due to hormonal imbalance, hypothyroidism, or maybe the drugs that you're taking, you still can't do away with the lifestyle. The lifestyle modification, the lifestyle habits. For example, the healthy diet and the exercise, because you find that yes, you may have the predisposing factor as the drug you're taking or the disease that you have,
Mm,
but if you couple that up with the unhealthy diet,
mm.
then the unhealthy diet is going to act like a catalyst for this disease or that drug to then bring the weight, to bring it out. Yet, if you have that disease and you know that you're also eating healthy, it can help you, counteract the effect.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
really great to know. So those are the points. We are going to order food. What are you going to eat?
Salad, fish.
So is that all about a healthy diet?
Yeah,
But is that true though? Is that true though?
Yes, very
Okay,
true.
okay. We'll see in a minute. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you so much, Esther, for coming, for sparing the time.
Thank you
To,
for having me.
yeah, come around, and to the viewers, thank you for watching. And, yeah, thank you very much.